So I recently made a video about the Mesa Boogie Mark VII and how to get comfortable using it if you're not familiar to the Mesa Boogie world or the Mark series amps. And after I spent some time working on that and then just thinking about the amp and then playing the amp and getting to know it even better, I had the idea, what if I took that same concept and put it into action and did it with a person, right? Showed a person in real life how to use that amp from start to finish and how to get a good sound and how to approach the entirety of the amp and the different modes and so on. And I was so enamored by that idea that I brought a friend over, my good buddy Matt. Great player, great friend, and I thought, what if I have Matt come over and I'll teach him how to use a Mesa Boogie Mark VII? Someone who's never used, anything in the Mesa Boogie line, what would it be like if he did it? And so he agreed to it. He came over and I walked him through the process, and I'll go ahead and give you the spoiler. It went great. He took right to it. It was really fun seeing him get to experience it. We not only go through it and I walk him through the entire process, but he also walks me back through it. And then, we also get some sounds out of it to hear what the different modes and different amps sound like in the amp. And it was really cool going through that with him. And I'm really glad that I did that, because it's one thing to tell someone in a video like this. It's an entirely other to actually get to spend some time with someone in real life doing that. So with all that, let's get into it. So the easiest way to understand the Mark VII is think about it as stairs. So first step, second step, third step, channel 1, 2, and 3. As you're going through each channel, it's going to increase in gain. So in your first channel here, you've got clean, fat, and crunch. And these are the modes that are going to dictate what the sound is coming from that channel. Now, all three of these channels have the same three mode selector on the top left, and top left. And all three modes on all three channels change, right? So if this is your first, you've got clean, fat, and crunch. On channel 2, you go to fat, crunch, and Mark VII. And then on channel 3, Mark 2B, 2C, and then Mark 4. Well, then you go to the middle position here. In the middle position, you've got the EQ, and then it says 0 FS, meaning foot switch. So either 0 or foot switch. Same in the middle, and then same here on the channel 3. This EQ is what it's referring to. So either you're telling this channel that you want to control the EQ here with the 5-band, or you want to control it with your foot switch. It also can just kill this 5-band and you want to just use a 3-band instead. Turn it off, and now you can just use a 3-band. And then here on the bottom right, you're going to see what the wattage is. So do you need the full 90, half at 45, or the 25 watt? And the same again on all three channels. So when you look at it at first glance, of course it's 21 knobs and I think 18 different dip switches, but it's more like 6 knobs and 3 dip switches. Since you can't play all three channels at a time, you're really only focusing on wherever you are in that moment, right? So let's say I need something nice and clean. We're going to go here, clean, and then to choose your channel, go to channel 1, and you see that it now just lit up green. So that's how you know where you are. Then we're going to switch over to channel 2. You see it lights up yellow. Then channel 3. Oh shit, it lights up red. Kill the master. But that's how you know. So there's a visual representation along with the dip switch position, which is rad. So let's turn the EQ on all, on all three of these. After that, then you've got your reverb here, which is controlled here. So you got a reverb. If you say, hey, no, I'm going to use a reverb on the foot switch, or I'm going to kill it because I want it to be nice and tight, flip it down. Now all three of these have gone away. Flip it up and you control it channel 1, 2, and 3. Channel 1, 2, and 3. That simple. Okay. Just reverb. It's basically less or more.
So you can control each reverb channel from here, basically divide it up for each channel.
Yeah. So say that you want the reverb on, and you go, channel 1 is going to be clean, so I want a ton of verb, right? I'm going to wash out, right? Right. On channel 2, I'm not going to have quite as much because I'm getting a little heavier. On channel 3, I want it to be super tight, so basically none. And so now, as you change channels, it's going to stay wherever these are, right? Just by having switch reverb on and not on the foot switch. And then lastly, you've got the effects loop. So the effects loop has got the effects loop on and off. So effects loop is currently in the signal, and then when you remove it or go to the foot switch, it actually pulls it out of the signal.
add it back in because let's say you're playing your wet effects through it, or however it is you're running it, and it reinserts it back into the signal chain. Mm-hmm. So, basically less, a little more, right?
And this all can be controlled by the foot switch too.
Yeah, so you plug in the foot switch, and it's a 6-button foot switch, 3 on top, 3 on bottom. You do channel 1, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3 from the foot switch. So that's how you're going to control it. So that's a blitzkrieg. We just went through that in 6 minutes. Tell me what you can tell me now having gone through that.
Okay.
Well, it's basically just really a great step, system, how you explained it, how much gain you want for each level, how much reverb you want, and you can break down the EQ for each channel. So it's really cool. You can get very specific on each channel depending on what you want, depending on if you want a tight signal, depending on what tone you want,
right,
and how much gain you want, which is very important, I feel like.
Totally.
You can have a clean tone, you can have a crunchy tone, and actually a really driven tone.
There's just so much in the amp, from the extremely clean cleans of the first channel here all the way to the madness over here on channel 3. So there's just so much opportunity in terms of just tonal variability, right?
And what you're explaining to me is very simple, almost straightforward, but it is versatile at the same time.
Right. Yeah, totally. I'm glad that you feel that too.
Yeah.
So I didn't say it a second ago, but just to be clear about what the layout is, again, on all 3 channels, you've got gain, master, presence, and then your 3-band EQ, treble, mid, bass. Same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing. So everything is just repeated. That's the best part, is really you're just dictating where the sounds are coming from, but ultimately you're just saying, I want it to sound a little like this, and then like this, and like this. But it's all of this literal same switches.
Yeah.
Like confusing a little bit at first, but once it's explained and kind of broken down, again, extremely simple.
And with one channel, you can use the 5-band EQ.
Yep.
And then that can be divided up with the other channels.
So if you're in right now we're in channel 3. So this 5-band EQ in this position is going to be assigned according to this. Then we come over here. Let's say we want to go to channel 2. See, it switches over. Now, whatever this is going to be the same thing. So then you just, you change it up however it is that you want to change it. And now that's going to be the new EQ. So think of it like this plus this.
Right.
So it does affect that in that way. It's not going to change. Like it's going to stay whatever these positions are based on wherever you are in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Sweet. All right. You want to play it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
All right, channel 2, see the yellow, flip it up, and now fat. Just so you know, we've got the EQ on. We got some reverb. I'll pull a little bit of that back. All right, go ahead. Okay, so what do you like about that sound?
It's just really beefy, and it's clean at the same time, but it's also got a little bite to it.
So you can pull the gain way out of it. Go again. Yeah, it's crazy. Just one more. I want to hear one thing. While we're on fat, we're going to go to channel 1 and play the same fat, but just to hear the difference. Go ahead.
Okay.
I just don't expect the EQ pull to be as dramatic as it is.
Yeah.
And it feels like it changes the amp again, right? And I know that's probably obvious, but it's such a big difference.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want it to sound like that amp. I want it to sound like this amp.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can just manipulate it so much, dude. You found the exact amp that you want.
I think the thing that makes the most sense now is let's put you in the Mark VII mode, which is the newest addition to the Mark series. And then from here, we're going to go through Mark IIB, Mark IIC, and then Mark IV last. And we'll just play them for a second and get a feel for how they sound. Let's go ahead and see, like, look at where the controls are. Gain's about halfway mastered to 25. Mids pulled, bass up, treble up, right? Presence at 60, 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So now let's move over. Something to note about these is I start everything with the master down, just so that if I switch over, it doesn't bark at me and scare the shit out of me. So I've got master down. So what we're gonna do is start in 2B this time. Same thing, dial it in, work your way into it, whatever makes the most sense. All right, let's go to 2C. Let's take the EQ out of it and rely only on the 3-band.
Good, man.
Totally cuts the bottom out of that, though, right?
Yeah.
That was interesting. I didn't expect it to be that big a shift.
I feel like it's a little meaner too, a little bit.
Yeah,
somehow
yeah, totally.
The gain isn't high, but it's still kind of got a.
Yeah, so you know what I thought? Play 2 seconds of this. This feels like your play at home setting.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a band mix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're now cutting out so much of that low end that you're going to cut through the mix
Yeah.
without the EQ.
Yeah.
Now this could also be because of how we've got the EQ set, right? We've got the EQ so that you're getting all the lows. Let's try it just here at noon for a second. Everything is 0 with EQ on. Honestly, I like it better here
Yeah.
than the initial,
Yeah.
scoop the mids.
It's a good, yeah. That's what I always resort to, is skipping the fucking mids.
Yeah, but I feel like on this one we gotta do the opposite. I feel like let's boost the mids and see where it goes. Let's try it that way. Let's go. Dude, this thing it's got so much room to grow.
Yeah.
It keeps just like adding another layer right when you feel like you've got like, okay, this is what we're going to get from it, right? It just gives you a little more. All right, last, final channel, Mark IV. So we're gonna pull the EQ out and start from there. All right, let's add the EQ in. Dude, this thing's crazy. Because I want you to know what this backside does. I'll kind of talk you through it just so you can know. So you've got the effects loop, foot switch, MIDI in, MIDI out. You've got 2 sets of speakers. So you've got 2 4s and then 2 8 ohms. So you can run, you know, just an array of different cabs with it. And then on top of that, you've got a direct out, a line out, a direct out XLR out, and then a line out for dry. And then you've also got a headphone out as well. And then you've got the Mesa cab clone. So here's where this becomes the recording artist's dream, is you can plug in direct and you can switch between channel 1, 2, and 3 and use different cab IRs. So even though you're using this guy here, you can run it direct and also simulate an entirely separate cab that you're not using here. Because the headphone out, you can remove the cabinet and play quiet at night with no one else hearing.
Right.
All of the noise you just made, no one would hear. No unhappy wife.
Yeah.
No unhappy anybody. Just you enjoying your amp. Next morning, 9 a.m., plug it back in and go again, and you haven't lost a thing. This thing gets crazy. So with this, not only have we recorded on both the front here, but as you can see, we also have recorded the XLR out, the cab clone, and we're recording all 3 signals right now. So we're going to get to hear what it sounds like going direct.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely couldn't bring this amp justice for all. I definitely couldn't do it this thing justice because of where it goes in the heavy side.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not my playing style. And even from what I could get from it, from the clean, fat, and crunch, and then some of the Mark VII, I felt like it was still a really good amp. But now hearing you play it, I'm like, this is the best amp I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like all around flexibility, versatility, right? Like it goes so far.
I hope you enjoyed that. Matt, thanks so much for jumping in and being a willing participant to learn how to use a Mesa Boogie Mark VII. Such a great amp, so many incredible tones, and I'm really grateful, Matt, that you would come out and do that with me. Please leave a comment for Matt below, thanking him for doing that. Got some really great sounds, some that I'm not usually able to get myself, so it was awesome hearing just how far Matt and his playing style could push the Mark VII. If you're interested in the Mark VII, please check out the links below. I've got 2 below for you. One is at Sweetwater. That's an affiliate link, and that's going to help support this channel should you buy something from it. And then second is the Mesa Boogie link that's going to take you straight to mesaboogie.com, where you can purchase a Mark VII directly from Mesa Boogie. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. It really helps take this forever farther than you'll ever know, and it's the free way of supporting. Last but not least, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I always have so much fun getting to make these. As always, and until next time, stay tuned.